What if you could turn back just one moment, the one that haunts you the most? Would you fix it, or would you destroy everything trying? Ethan had always believed he was a man of logic. He was an engineer, a builder, someone who trusted in gears, numbers, equations. But there was one thing he could never fix: the night he lost Anna. She had been the love of his life. Bright, beautiful, filled with laughter that carried through every room. The car accident that took her happened in seconds, yet the memory dragged on endlessly inside him. He heard the sound of tires screeching every night. He saw the headlights bearing down. He remembered the way her hand slipped from his in the silence after, and for years he wished he could change it. The wish haunted him until the night of the storm. Rain hammered against his windshield, wipers struggling against the downpour. He was driving home from work, exhaustion heavy in his eyes, when the car sputtered, coughed, and died near the edge of town. Cursing, Ethan pulled over, soaked as he stepped out into the storm. And that's when he saw it. Down a narrow alley, a faint glow shone through the rain. A wooden sign swayed above a door, the letters faded but still legible. The Clockmaker. He frowned. He had lived here his whole life. He knew every street, every corner. But he had never seen this place before. Something pulled him inside. The air was thick with the smell of oil and iron. Clocks of every shape and size filled the room, ticking in strange unison. Some were ancient, with pendulums swinging like the heartbeat of giants. Others were delicate, with hands so thin they seemed to tremble. Behind the counter stood an old man. His silver hair framed a face lined with centuries of secrets. His eyes were sharp, though kind, and his hands, though aged, moved with precision. "You're late," the clockmaker said calmly. Ethan blinked. Late? For what? The old man smiled faintly, reaching beneath the counter. He pulled out something that made Ethan's breath catch, an hourglass. But instead of sand, glowing shards of light flowed downward, swirling like tiny galaxies. Each grain shimmered, pulsing with energy that seemed alive. "For your chance," the clockmaker whispered. "My chance?" Ethan asked, his throat dry. "To go back," the old man said softly. "To the moment you cannot forget. To the moment you cannot forgive." Ethan's chest tightened. "Anna?" The clockmaker nodded slowly. "But be warned. Every grain you turn is borrowed from somewhere else. To change the past is to steal from the future." Ethan stared at the hourglass in his hands, warmth radiating from it like a heartbeat. He should have asked more questions. He should have listened to the warning. But all he could think of was her. That night in his apartment, Ethan turned the hourglass. The world shattered into light. When his vision cleared, he was standing on the street. The night of the accident. Anna's laughter rang through the night just as he remembered. His stomach clenched as the headlights came rushing, the moment replaying with unbearable accuracy. This time he moved. He lunged forward, grabbed her, pulled her back. The car roared past, horn blaring, tires screeching. And then, silence. She was alive. In his arms. Alive. Tears streamed down his face as he kissed her hair, holding her like he would never let go. "I did it," he whispered. "I saved you." And for a moment, the world was perfect again. But perfection never lasts. The next morning, Ethan noticed small things were wrong. A photograph missing from his wall. A coworker who didn't recognize him. The sky seemed a shade darker, though he couldn't explain why. Days passed and the changes grew. His sister no longer existed in family photos. Friends disappeared from his life, erased as if they had never been. Conversations he remembered never happened. Reality was unraveling. Still, he told himself it was worth it. Anna was alive. That was all that mattered. Until Anna began to dream. One night, she woke trembling, tears streaking her face. "Ethan," she whispered. "I saw it. A life where I died. I saw you. Broken. Alone. It felt so real." His stomach dropped. She didn't know. She couldn't know. But deep down, he realized something terrifying. The memories she dreamed weren't dreams. They were truths, the echoes of the life that was meant to be. Desperate, Ethan returned to the shop. The clockmaker was waiting as if he had never left. "You see it now," the old man said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "Every life is bound to another. The hourglass cannot give without taking. What you saved was bought with someone else's tomorrow." Ethan slammed the hourglass onto the counter. "Then take it from me. Take my time, my life, anything. Just don't take her again." The clockmaker's eyes softened. "That is not how it works. The universe demands balance. You must choose. Keep her and watch the world collapse, or return the moment and let her go." Ethan's heart shattered. He stumbled home, holding Anna like a man condemned. Every laugh, every smile, every kiss felt like a knife, knowing it couldn't last. But he couldn't give her up, not yet. So he turned the hourglass again and again. Each time he rewrote, the cracks widened. People vanished, buildings crumbled. Time itself began to stutter, moments repeating, hours missing. The city grew emptier with each day. Shadows stretched where no light remained. One evening, as the sun bled crimson across the sky, Anna looked at him with terror. "Ethan," she whispered, "what's happening? Where is everyone?" He had no answer. The world groaned around them like a machine tearing itself apart. The hourglass glowed brighter, consuming itself grain by grain. Ethan fell to his knees, clutching Anna's hands. "I can't lose you again," he cried. And then the library of clocks appeared around him. Not his apartment, not the street, but the shop itself. Endless ticking filling the air. The clockmaker stood before him, silent. Ethan's book appeared in his hands, the pages glowing with shifting words. Every time he had turned the hourglass, his story had changed. Whole chapters were blackened with ash. And at the very end, one sentence burned into the page. "Ethan must decide. Love or balance?" Tears blinded him. He looked at Anna, alive and trembling. He looked at the empty shelves of a broken world. And then, he chose. With shaking hands, he turned the hourglass one final time. Light engulfed him. The accident returned. The headlights, the scream, the silence. This time, he stood frozen. He did not interfere. Anna was gone. Forever. When Ethan opened his eyes, he was back in the shop. The hourglass lay empty. The clocks ticked in harmony. The world outside was whole again. The clockmaker whispered, "Love is not about holding on, Ethan. It is about letting go." Ethan walked into the night, broken but breathing. For the first time, he did not replay the accident. Instead, he replayed the laughter, the love, the moments that made her real. Because sometimes the only way to honor the past is to stop trying to rewrite it. And the clocks ticked on.